Shut up and sit down.
Hi guys, this is Annie from Big Mac Studio and Workshop. Today we're painting a Nightlord's Contemptor Dreadnought from Forge World. It's one of my own personal vehicles, what I've reconditioned using clear spirit which I've got from Wilco's. Now starting off with a base of Necron Abyss, putting it on several thin layers. The reason behind doing so, it gives you a better colour control and allows you to add highlights and shading without even changing the colour. Now, yeah, it's a bit of a dull pose. It's one I've had for a long time, and bizarrely, it was only in the stripper for a day. We went in there overnight, and it came out absolutely crystal clean. So I'm throwing some more Necron Abyss on the upper areas, and I'm just highlighting with the base colour to allow for better colour transitions. I do have to apologise about the camera work. This was quite poor positioning on my part. Not the best cameraman. So the second colour is Magic Blue by Vallejo Air. And this is just going into the raised areas. It's I've set the PSI really low, and that is to allow me to control the paint better so it doesn't saturate the colour too much. It's around about 15 PSI, so it allows me to get a good control with the paint itself. I'm doing this again in gentle layers to allow myself to control it, and I will be taking it down again shortly after with the base colour once again, which you shall soon see. So yeah, here's my final layers of the Magic Blue, and it's a little bit bright than what I wanted, so I'm putting the Necron Abyss back over the top, but it's even lower PSIs, down to about 10, and that's just a really thin layer just to tone down the highlights and to make it look more natural, a bit more brooding and dirty, like a traditional Nightlord vehicle should be. Now, it might seem a little bit counterproductive, but I'm actually putting pure Magic Blue, again with a very low PSI, still under 10, and that's just going on to the real highlighted areas, just to pick it out a bit, add a little bit of vibrancy to the sun bleached areas, and to give me a nice platform to work with for the brushwork on the highlighted regions. Now, it's not necessarily the best and most effective way of doing things. It's just my way. I like to tone things down and then bring them back up a couple of times, just to make sure I get the right colour transitions for what I want. So that's that for the airbrush. Now I'm going to the hand brush, and I'm using a 50-50 mix of Coraline Blue and Magic Blue. Now this is watered down to almost a wash level consistency. It's really thin, and I'm just using the edge of the brush just to hit the raised edges. It's like an edge highlight what's slightly blended, and that's just really making the corners pop. First layer of the edge highlights. There's actually a couple of layers going onto these, which will be again, it's a 3 colour mix of this time, using my finest brush. It's Coraline Magic and a bit of pale blue grey, again to almost a wash level consistency, and it's again placed right onto the edges now. It's just on the extreme areas of the highlights, just to make them highlighted areas really stand out and give it a nice polished effect from the from highlighted regions. So I'm doing a bit of shading now, which is a mixture of Necron Abyss and Panzer Dark Grey. Now obviously this is going into the deeper areas specifically into the inside areas of the legs where the sun wouldn't hit, and under the canopy, under the torso, in the groin region, adding a touch of extra depth to the base colours, so it doesn't look quite so flat in the shadow areas. So onto the wings now, which is a base of Metalwork red. Now I made a bit of an error on this choice. It seemed a bit too pink, so I actually put a few layers of other colours to really make it a sort of a dark, brooding look. What I was actually aiming for. Now the other colours, what I'm about to use is a 50-50 mix of dark flesh tone with Metalwork, and that's just to give it a bit of depth. It starts out as a very rich red, so I'm painting some of the dark flesh tone into it, make it less orangey, adding some depth to the colour, which really helps with making the colours work together. It's not just about picking the right colours for what you want, it's about picking the colours for the effect you're going for, what matches the rest of the armour. So I'm just adding some highlights now, which is made of gory red. So the initial highlight is gone in onto the upper sections of the wings, or ridge sections, and also to some of the lower sections where the light would possibly be hitting from the weapon itself. So now it's a mix 50-50 of gory red and bloody red, just for the extreme area highlights, possibly some around the lower sections of the wings where the wing itself spreads, which would possibly allow a bit of light in. And I'm keeping the layers, as always, really thin. It's very important to do this, because that way it allows you to build up the layers, adding a bit of opacity to the layers, so you get a really good colour transition. So now I'm putting some shading in, so I wasn't quite happy with it at this point, and I put in a mix of Cowbird Crimson and Army Painted Strong Tone, and that's just it was a wash just into the lower sections. It really made the wings stand out and added a lot of vibrance into the highlights. So I've started on the Metalwork now, and which I have used Gun Grey and Ironbreaker as the initial highlights. Now I've already done the base layers, which was just Gun Grey and Northern Oil. I start to put some highlights in over the top of the base Northern Oil, which was using Ironbreaker and the Gun Grey itself, just to give it a bit of definition before I started putting some of the dirt effects into it. Now, as you can see, there is some highlights on there. There was a bit of a Necron compound used over the top of the Ironbreaker initially, but it made it a bit really vibrant, so I had to go back and throw some washes over the top to mute it down a touch. So here we are, we're going for the sort of a dirty effect now, and for that it is just thin layers of Army Painted Strong Tone. You could use Aggro Curve Shade for this as well, and you should paint it into the areas where the oil would sort of streak and grime, and building it up really naturally using very thin layers, so you can stretch the paint pigment really nicely. And the more, as you put the layers in, it really starts to build up and allows you to get a really nice sort of warm used sort of look to it. As you can see where I'm painting now, and primarily doing it towards the bottom edges, but there is some of it up nearer the top, just to add a bit of grease to the entirety of the metalwork. Okay, onto the skulls now. I went for a really cold cut apart on the skulls. Now this was based with Rakarth flesh, which gave me a really nice, cool base colour for the skull. I did all the skulls on the trophy racks in the same manner, and it's just based up with Rakarth flesh and then washed down with thin layers of strong tone, which was actually painted into the recesses rather than washed. I really specifically targeted the darker regions on that. Once I had time to dry, I then used Karak stone to pick out the detail work and to add light to the upper areas of the skulls and the bone area, which was then mixed up together. 30% Karak stone, 70% Upshabti, which was also quite thin layers. Apologies about the camera work. And that was just painted onto the extreme upper regions, making a really cool looking type of bone rather than sort of a warm toned bone colour. This allows it to match well with the rest of the armour. Okay, thank you for watching. This is the first part of the video. There will be another part coming. Hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any criticisms or comments, please feel free to write them down there. Take care, guys.